Hi, my name is Dr. Schirripa. I'm Assistant Professor of Percussion at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley in Edinburgh and Brownsville, Texas. And today I want to talk a little bit about the Texas All-State 4-Mallet Marimba Etude, Mystic Fire by Julie Davila. I want to point out a couple of the trouble sections that may stump you in your practicing, as I found them difficult myself in learning this piece. The first one I want to talk about is from measures 15 to 18, which is sort of the ending part of our opening section, where the right hand melodic line turns into fifths and fourths. And so on. One thing to keep in mind when playing these melodic lines, both in the left and the right hand at the beginning, is that the music moves pretty quickly. So you shouldn't be afraid to engage the edge of the bar on the accidentals instead of the center, because the economy of motion, moving so much less to hit the edges, can really be helpful in playing fast enough. The difference between getting those big reaches in there can be very difficult at a fast tempo when you can move much less hitting on the edges. One secret though is you have to make sure to really aim for the very tippy edge of the bar and not too close to the node, because you can hear the difference in sound quality. The further I get from the node, the better the sound is, which is a big difference between and. You can hear the difference pretty clearly, I'm sure. And then, of course, when we get from measure 17 into measure 18, our transition on the G-flat major chord into the fast 16th notes. You're going to want to base the tempo that you take the opening passage of this piece around how fast you can play those 16th notes. And of course, it's not how fast can you play them, it's how fast can you play them musically. We don't want so much tension in our playing that it ruins the musical aspect of the piece. We want it to be relaxed and with good technique. And so the sticking of the G major chord into those 16th notes, I would play left, right, left, left. And then for this left, go to the edges of the bars for your economy of motion. And of course, practice that very, very slowly and work your way up to a faster tempo, both to help your technique and your note accuracy. Another section I found difficult when learning this piece was measures 34 to 37. The reason that this was difficult was not because of the technical aspect, but because of the difficulty in deciding the correct sticking to use. When played correctly, this section feels good in your hands and is very idiomatic, but it's a little confusing at first sight to decide which mallets are the right ones to use for each note. My solution, starting at the beginning of measure 34, was as follows. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4 for the first 2 beats. If we number our mallets 1 to 4 from left to right, 1, 2, 3, shift over, 2, 3, 4. And from there, all of the double stops, all of the notes where there are 2 pitches at once, will be with your left hand. Left, right, left, right, left, right. And from here, we have the same 2-beat gesture to begin measures 35 and 36 in different octaves. And that I stick 1, 2, 3, 3 on the D flat to C from beats 1 into beat 2 of those measures. Doubling your inner mallet on your right hand allows you to stop your hands from getting sort of tongue-tied and make it feel natural. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. And then from there, it's very clear. And then one other preference thing, leading into the 12/8, I reach over and hit the last F of measure 39 with my right hand to avoid any sort of smearing between the last 2 notes. Those are 2 clearly articulated Fs at different dynamics from measure 39 into 40. And that way I can differentiate the 2 sections from each other more easily by changing my sticking. The final section of this piece, beginning at measure 40 in 12/8 time, has some difficulty to it because of the meter. Being in 12/8, we may gravitate to expect to hear it as 4 groups of 3 eighth notes. Triplet, 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 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda, 4 enda. And while that is one way you could think about it, the groove of this section is really driven by your left hand, whose notes resemble a 12/8 clave pattern of groups of 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then of course we divert into some of the odd meters with a melodic line in the left hand. I recommend practicing this with a metronome on eighth notes with a different sound on the downbeat to make sure that you're locked in with a consistent 8-note pulse, but allowing your left hand to drive the groove. And I think keeping this in mind will help you groove a little bit better and make the time signature a little bit less confusing as you try to learn all these notes and keep them in time.